Tony, and welcome everybody. Coming to you today from Canada rather than Australia. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoys this. This is, everybody will get the PowerPoints as we talked about. I do tend to write lectures with a lot of information. I won't obviously read out every slide because that would bore you to death. And I hope you enjoy this. This lecture is really created kind of teach you some of the history of medical astrology, or it even blends in. I'm a naturopath nutritionist, so it kind of blends a little bit with that. I won't teach you anything that the average astrologer can't apply medically, because you do need to be really careful with medical astrology and suggesting things unless you're a practitioner. But that goes the same with regular astrology, and just being cautious what you tell people. So this one is very much around the elements, and this is not to say I'm doing the temperaments, which is slightly different. And I wanted to bring it back because the temperaments, which is an old medical term, there's some amazing books and medical astrology books on that. But I wanted to simplify this back to the elements for astrologers so that it's easier to apply and you're not doing a bunch of tricky calculations. So, and just if you haven't heard me lecture before, I am a modern medical astrologer. I love traditional astrology, but I'm definitely way onto the modern scale of clinical practice. So I hope you guys enjoy this. And again, ask the questions, put them in the chat box. Tony will read them and interrupt me at any time. So I love this. The art of healing comes from nature and not the physician. Therefore, the physician must first start from nature with an opened mind. And Paracelsus is kind of the guy who invented modern chemistry as far as it goes, and I just love it. It's all about watching nature and watching how the world works. And our body is, I guess what I want to do is come back to the idea that our body is nature and we are operating off of these same principles or same elements. So in naturopathic principles and in medical astrology, it's the idea that we want to treat the whole person. We have that beautiful, when we have a natal chart, we have a beautiful roadmap, or what I refer to with my clients is you've got your blueprint of energetics, of how you were born and your body's going to operate in this, we say, in this lifetime. It's this blueprint of hints and things you were gifted that should be strong, things you were gifted that might not be very strong or might be a hassle or that we need to work on. But it's this beautiful blueprint of you emotionally, medically, spiritually, physically. So that's kind of how I see medical astrology, and I work with it. And yes, we can focus on one little part of the chart, but you always have to look at the dynamics of how the whole chart is operating. Just like I refer to astrology as regular astrology. So you got to get used to, there's medical astrology and then regular astrology in my somehow brain terminology. So elements, when an element is strong and in balance, it's great. It's great for our health when we let an element express itself and we acknowledge it. Whereas we run into problems when an element is in excess or we're overusing an element. And we can overuse a missing element in our chart. Don't underestimate our ability to fire up a missing element, or if it's lacking or we're ignoring it. And so that's really what I want to go into today. So let's start with fire. You're going to know some of these things, so I will go fast through some of these slides so that we can get to looking at people's charts and what to do about it. And we know it's hot and dry, whether this is, you have really strong fire element in your chart, or your sun or your Mars is very strong in the chart. And as I said, triangular lean body, they can tend to a fast metabolism. They will tend to a lot of body heat. This can also be true if, say, your sun and your moon are both sitting, they might not be in a fire sign, but they're sitting in what is naturally a fire house. So like sun and moon in the first, even if they're in Taurus, that first house being a fire house traditionally traditional is probably not the right term, but originally can add to that. So I hope you understand that.